Hello to all who'll be watching this video of the life of John Hunt, better known as the man from Athy. It has been my pleasure to know John for over the past 55 years and to be considered one of his friends. His life story in itself is an exceptional piece of history in what he went through from the 40s to what he went through in the 70s in Alaska. So I am honoured to be able to introduce this to you from my friend John Hunt, sitting directly to my left, and on my far left then would be his granddaughter Bridget O'Brien. So to all who watch this, enjoy every moment of it.
Right. Yeah. Here we are, we're at Gaelic Park. Tonight is Monday, November 19th. My name is Tygo O'Reilly. Sitting next to me is John Hunt. Sitting next to him is his driver, Willie Joe Casey from Ballyhaig. Sitting next to him is his beautiful daughter. She is Teresa. Teresa Flynn. She's Flynn now. So tonight is our first effort at a series that Teresa and I came up with called This Is My Life. You might have heard of This Is Your Life, a show that I was back on in England and Ireland, where they kind of surprise people with guests and stuff like that. We're not doing that. We're here tonight to talk to John about his life and where he came from and how he came to America. We're just after having a wonderful conversation there about dogs a minute ago. We should have probably taped that, but I'm sure we'll get to it. So that's me done enough talking over tonight. Tonight is about you, John. So if you want to start us off and just tell us where were you born and what year were you born?
Well, I was born in first of all, let me talk about my friend Willie Joe Casey here and his daughter and you, Ty.
Right.
Because we're all friends here, and it's very hard to ask a man a lot of questions if he's not well acquainted with who he's talking to. That's my book. You will know why I made that statement as the conversation gets along the way. Ty, you asked me where I was born. You know by my accent that I'm Irish, right?
Correct.
And I was born in Athy, County Limerick, on the Limerick and Kerry border. I would say a quarter mile from the Kerry border.
So you were born on the right side of the border?
Well, I'm between Willie Joe now and his daughter alongside me then, and there's hot tea in this table, and I don't want to get into problems with that.
But at one time now, Athy was in County Kerry, so John Hunt will attest to that. That's right. It was in Kerry one time. As a matter of fact, up to last year, the Kerry TDs represented West Limerick. That's it. Yeah. But anyway...
what was the year that you were born?
I was born 1920.
1920.
Born in 1920. I was born the 24th of June 1920.
Wow.
1920. It's 93 years ago. 94, I like to say 94 because, you know what I mean, I don't know whether I'll make it or not, but it gives me a feeling that I have something to aim for.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I think you're going to be here for that longer than you think.
Another birthday.
Yeah.
Another birthday, because they're putting me on my birthday.
Does the fire brigade have to come out now with all the candles, or do they just put a couple of candles?
No, what they do now is they use a lot of light bulbs. They find out it's cheaper. But anyway...
1920, what was it? Kind of like your parents, were they farmers?
No, my father, I was born in a public house. We had a public house.
All right.
My father had a public house. And my grandfather lived up the street. My mother was Kristen Danher. Danher was her name. And he lived up the street. It's a small village, village.
Right.
I know everybody in that village,
yeah.
And everybody knew everybody there. You know
right.
what I mean? It's a farming community, as you know. A village like that, if you wanted a pound of tea, you could go into that, and if you wanted a pint of Guinness, you could get it there too. They had everything in the small village.
The shop and the pub was all one.
And everything like that. Do you understand me? So. I had an aunt, Ellen was her name, and there was a story going that time. Tom Barrett told me he had a pub up the street, and when anybody would come in and ask him for something, he'd say, "Go to hell and hunt for it." go to hell and do you understand? So, you know what I mean? But,
I can, yeah.
yeah, but usually in that village, the owner of the shop or pub or whatever had a couple of cows as well.
Right,
you know what I mean? He had
Just to
3 or 4
keep,
cows, or maybe 7 or 8 cows, and then my grandfather John Danaher up at the top of the street, he had a very large farm, I was showing Willie Casey there about these. There were a lot of problems with it.
That was John Boss Danaher.
The
John Boss Danaher.
Yeah,
John Boss Danaher was his name. Right.
Yeah,
He was married to the Danahers that were in the movie.
They were the same people, because if you knew that,
The Quiet Man.
if you knew the history of our family, I showed Willie Casey the history of it.
Yeah.
I have it here, I can show it to you. But anyway, he had about, he finished up with about 800 acres.
Wow, that was big.
Very big, very big, very big. I'd say his farm ran from the River Gale out to Knocknashna at the other side of the Kerry border.
Right.
It was divided after the Land Commission. My uncle Jim, he was a doctor. Both at the 2 sides of our family, I come from a very peculiar family. One side of the family they were in medicine. I had a couple of uncles doctors in my mother's side of the family. In my father's side of the family, it was priests.
Right.
There was 2 priests and and a lawyer. My uncle Tim was a lawyer in Ennis. I don't want to be blowing my coal now here in this, but they were.
But you're very well to do.
They were very well to do, and that was the cause. That was a lot of the cause of my problems after. That I'll come to parts where I was arrested and everything like that. And the reason I was arrested because it was of the family.
Right.
They wanted. I was a good organizer, and I was able to organize lots of things that happened. And the authorities were not in love with the way I was organising.
Right.
So
just a clarification, the statute of limitations is over on any of these things we're going to discuss. So
yes.
Just myself and Teresa, whatever about Willie Joe, he doesn't have, we don't mind him going to jail, but me and Teresa are not going there.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right. I won't put you to jail. But anyway, I had, why I brought up that, I had the family was well connected.
Right.
Let's say it like that.
Yeah.
And if anything was going on, I was the eldest of the family, so I was always, but anyway, when I was growing up, I remember everything around the village when I was small and everything. When I grew up, when I was 12 or 13 or 14 years of age, with the priests in the family, 2 uncles priests and 2 aunts nuns, on my father's side of the family, they thought that they should send me to a novitiate, that they send me for the priesthood.
Oh, right.
So I'm avoiding a lot of my life now, but to get to that, I was in a novitiate. I was at Belcamp College, Raheny, County Dublin, for the Oblate Fathers. So life. My sister, then they wanted my sister Mary, she's still alive. They wanted her to be a nun, and she was sent to Newmarket in County Cork, to the convent in Newmarket. I was up at that convent to see her while she was there. But anyway, any of the 2 of us didn't continue on with our religious vocation.
You didn't finish the apprenticeship?
No, we didn't. We did not.
Yeah.
We did not. And let me be very honest, with all the things I see happening today and hearing about pedophile and pedophilers and everything going on, and I was in a novitiate where there were 65 students all studying for the priesthood, and I never saw, and I'll be very honest, I never saw anything wrong with any of the priests that were there.
Yeah.
And we were young fellas. I was 16 when I started off. I never saw any priest making any suggestions to me.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't good looking enough.
Did you have to be it back then?
But But you know what I mean?
No, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know.
No, this is true. This is true. We got up in the morning and we made our beds. We made our beds. After that, we went down to the chapel and said prayers, studying for the priesthood. And then we went out for exercise for a bit. Then we came back to the refectory and eat. And we had each student during the meals would be up in a pulpit and he'd be. I remember what I had was the life of John Bosco. I'll never forget John Bosco. You have to read out this. There was a student reading it while you were eating at all times.
Wow.
Because you were listening
while you were eating.
To know, you were studying elocution, you see, how to express yourself. But anyway, I left there then, and I came back to the village. Left the school, and I told my father, I said, look, that's it.
This isn't for you.
I'm not.
Was he all right with that?
No, my father was very funny about me. My father was very. He was not. He was he was a very powerful man, a very big man. He was as big as you were. He was at he got a job at Guinness's after years before he got the pub. How he got the pub was very funny. How he got the pub, because my Uncle Tim there was two priests, you see, no, they were not married, there was no family. My Uncle Tim was an attorney in Ennis, County Clare. He was married to one of the Glynns, the flour people there. They had no family. My Uncle Pat got married to a woman from Licksnar, some place back. Her name was Mariah Egan from
Licksnar, yeah.
That's it, good to me. And he had no family. He had the pub. He had the pub because my grandfather gave the pub to him. So my father was a peculiar man, very powerful. He got in trouble with the police at the time that my uncles were in school, and my grandfather was advised, you better send Edsy out of here.
Right.
Because your son Tim will not get his license for an attorney if he's hit, because Ireland was controlled that time by the British government.
Yeah.
And if he hits a policeman, an English policeman, that's it, and you have to. So my father was sent to America. He was sent to America. My father came out to America. My father was well educated too. He worked in New York, but he was powerful. I'll tell you how powerful he was. I'll have to go back later on. He was at the end of the war, at the end of the rope at the Guinness's tug-of-war team. That'll tell you how strong he was.
Yeah.
That them guys that worked at Guinness's brewery at that time were strong. And nobody could get a job at Guinness's that time unless that they were a farmer producing wheat, or unless that they had somebody was selling Guinness, a public house.
Right.
They had the influence to get a job at Guinness. And my grandfather was able to get my father into Guinness. You know, the circus. But anyway, he was sent out to America, and he came out here and he worked in New York. And he came to Chicago, and I found out last year where he lived in Chicago, and I have the papers with me. I think I have them here with me. He lived in Chicago, and then when I think my father was maybe 40 years of age when he married my mother. I think he was. They sent for my father that there was nobody, and they give him the place if he got married.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the Donners were very rich people up at the top of the village, okay? So there was one woman left there. Chris was the youngest. She was right. So they made a match. I don't know. I had different. I had my father believe. He said he met her when he was in Guinness's in Dublin. I don't know. But anyway, that time John Donner, he had He had 4 daughters. Each daughter got £1,000 as a dowry.
That was a
When
lot of
they-
money,
back-
lot of money back then.
That was a lot of money.
One of them was married to Dr. Moran from Listowel, Rita. Gertie was married to what was the Lieutenant Governor's name of Illinois? Neil Hartigan. One was married to Hartigan, an engineer from Rockhill, from related to Neil Hartigan. One of them was married, my Aunt May was married to Dr. McGrath, the local doctor in Atte, and the other one married my father.
Wow.
Do you understand me? Now, the result of that marriage was 6 children.
And you were the oldest?
I'm the eldest.
The eldest, right.
My sister Mary's next, and then we had one brother, except my brother Patrick. They're all alive, and they're all 89 and 90.
Wow.
So we're all alive, except my brother. Then he died young. He got TB.
All right.
TB. That time was
Because
privileged.
good, clean living is what's keeping you going, Sir John, is it?
Meeting the likes of you and other people. It energizes me.
That's
I
it.
got that energy. But I'm doing a lot of talking without you asking me anything.
No,
no,
but
you
this was the whole idea. The whole idea was to see where this thing was going, because when
Yeah.
Teresa and I talked about it, we said,
Yeah.
you know, we had some questions and stuff like that, but we said we'd leave it free flow.
Yeah.
And we started going, now if I could take you back, you were saying, like you remember, and you've a great memory, fair play to you. I can't remember half the things that happened yesterday, never mind a couple of years back. But you were 12. Did you ever play hurling and football? How was hurling and football in the village?
Oh yes. I was belonged to the. Football was the game in
That's
Ulster.
it.
Yeah.
So we had the school boys. I kicked football. I was pretty young. As a matter of fact, I was could you believe it, Teresa? I'm on Facebook. Anyway.
Wow.
Fair play to you.
You know who laughs at that? I'll tell you. I'll tell you who got a chat out that when he was over at the house. What do you call him? The Kerry footballer.
Oh,
I said, look, the tablet is there. Go at it. He said, they were joking me. I said, they're all go at it. But he'll cut laughs.
So we'll be friends with you tomorrow. I'll be putting out a friends request tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
To be friends with you on
But,
Facebook.
but anyway, I don't.
So you played football?
I read what's in it. But I played football, and I remember it quite well. I was kicked football. We were down the inch. There was an inch. The river gale was going when we kicked football down the inch. But I used to do that, and then until I went to school, and then I went to school, and then my experiences at I was telling Willie about their Ate played Abbeyfield in the Limerick Championship. I think it was that's a championship. So there was a fella played rugby, Balboa, that he was out here for years.
He was here in Chicago. He was
in the county team, but he played rugby in Cashel Island.
Right.
And they objected, and they asked me to know would I go to the county board, and this is my first experience of the rule book. Outside of that, I was able to handle myself pretty well. But the rule book, anyway, I went down to the county board. They got me a cab and everything, but I went before Cannon Punch, I think it was. So I said that I put my case up for objection. They listened to my case. The man that was fighting the case for Abbeyfield, I was very happy to be placed against him. He was De Valera's secretary, Jimmy Canny Collins. So,
It's in black and white.
Secretary.
oh yeah.
It's in black and white in the book.
Oh yeah. But anyway, I took my position against him anyway, and I stated my case. I got a very good listening They listened to me very carefully. I lost. And coming out the door, I said to myself, this can't happen. I can't let this sandwich beat me. So I took a pound, and pounds was very scarce that time, but I must have had a pound somewhere. But I know this much, that to launch an objection, you had to have a pound.
Right.
And I put up my pound.
To lodge the objection.
So the Atay Club was notified. In 2 weeks I went down and I brought my witness with me that saw Barbolian play in Addyfield, or in Cashel Islands rugby. And I'm all fired up and everything. But if I knew as much about the rules as I know now, it would be a different story. I wouldn't have put up my pound for a start, and I wouldn't have taken Jimmy Quill either. But Cannon punched open the book and he said, when I said, I have a witness, he said, Mr. Hunt, he said, you know, he said, in fighting an objection, you have to fight it on the grounds of what was there before. You can't be bringing in
new evidence. Right.
Bringing no evidence. So I lost it. But you asked me to know what was my connection with the GAA.
Yeah.
That was my connection with the
first
GAA. I had, that was before Cannon Punch. I had the privilege during my lifetime of going to the top after that to Central Council.
Meetings.
I was there.
Yeah.
But
so you must have met another rule book.
I read
Francis O'Murrocool, Frank Murphy from Cork.
He knows I have one there for you. I have one there for you, Ty. The chairman of the Cork board, who I have his picture right there for you.
Dennis Conroy.
Dennis Conroy. Hand it over till I show you that, Dennis.
But before we get
the book. Thank you.
Before we pass up John's life, like, you know, in chronological order, right there, like, you know, his father, like, you know, to be the publican in Athay, and what he saw his father do in front of the Black and Tans in whatever year that was, John.
Yeah.
Elaborate on that and tell us a little bit about that.
That was something. You know, take that I forget it.
That's all right. I know what I meant.
There's the picture you wanted right there to show with
Yes.
John Kelly O'Donnell. And
You'll be able to show that there.
the last picture of Paddy O'Keefe.
The last picture I've taken alive of Paddy O'Keefe.
All right.
But anyway, you were saying, Willie, while he's reading that,
Yeah.
my father, you said,
Taking the Guinness out.
oh yeah, that he was a very brave, courageous man, and that's why I was connected with the politics. You know, I had finished up in my years as a politician, not as a politician, but as a shrewd observer of Irish politics. How do you like the way I phrased it?
That was good.
That's so. But anyway, Paddy Dalton, the village I come from, Athay, is one of the most historic villages in Ireland. One of the most historic villages in Ireland. Two great patriots came out of that village. Con Colbert, that was executed in 1916, he was born in that village of Athay. And Paddy Dalton, that they made that song about the valleys of Knockanore. Gorta Glana came out of that village.
Oh.
And it was a village, it is a village, it was a village and is a village today that has no bus service, to my knowledge, going through it. That has no trains service or anything. The only way we're all related to one another back there in that village. For the simple reason is that the only way we could find anybody was with a bicycle. And as far away as you could find a bicycle, as you would cycle with a bicycle in 2 hours, everybody that was married was within that radius.
Right.
Say 2 hours that way, 2 hours this way. We'd spend 2 hours all right to go looking for the girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But that was it. There was no, we were all related to one another.
Right.
Now, my family is related to Paddy Dalton. Paddy Dalton, I'm related to Paddy Dalton, was killed in Knockanore. one day, the Tans came along. I'm told this story. I'm told this story. And they picked 4 or 5 guys from around the village, or outside the village, and they put them in the back of the tent, that they used to call it, the truck. And they stopped outside. They were picking them up to clear the back by Gortiglana, the bridge where the bridge was knocked down. The boys knocked the bridge down. They were to truck the boys to clear the road for them. And my father went inside the counter, this is the way I told it, and he got a big gallon jug and he filled it of Guinness's porter and went right across the street to where the tinder was, right at the other side of the street, with the thing like that, and the rifles on him like that. They could have shot him. I'm told by people that Edsy Hunt could have been shotgunned, and what he said was, when they tried to stop him, he said, I'm going to give these men a pint of Guinness before you take them out of this village. That's what he said. That's what he said. Now, when I left school...
How old were you when you left school?
I was about, I would say 17. I was 17. There about a year and a half. I was hanging around the village, and I told my father very...
You didn't mess around with him?
No, he was very good. Very good. No, he was very different. He tried to place you in a place that suited you. You understand me? When he failed, after he'd been trying to suit himself, what suited you, he tried to accommodate you what you wanted to do, okay?
Right.
So, my grandfather, up at the top of the street, and my Uncle Rice, they had a big business. So there was a leather salesman used to come in. My life changed. A leather salesman came in, and my Uncle Rice, my father must have said, try and find a place for that fella, put him somewhere. We have to get him out of the village. We have to get him out of here. So my Uncle Rice says, geez, I'm going to ask somebody, maybe we'll send him off to be a shoemaker.
Right.
He'll be saving souls anyway.
When the priesthood didn't work, they were going to be...
Same one or the other. Same one or the other. Go ahead, John.
So anyway,